Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and our little flip-through review of Justice League America number 28 with a few words on Justice League Europe number 3, all part of Justice League Monday as we roll through the Justice League series starting at issue 1 at the beginning of this year and running to probably issue 52 at the end of the year. So this is sort of an in-between issue. Last issue, we're dealing with what happened to Blue Beetle in terms of some programming from the Queen Bee. There were questions about whether or not something like that happened to Green Flame, who was also dealing with the repercussions of the gene bomb that was set off during the alien invasion. Well, you know, you got to be talking about comic books to utter a sentence like that. At any rate, so this one, well, it does follow up a little bit on one of those storylines, but it primarily is we'll call it like a character building issue. We're going to learn a little bit more. Well, maybe we won't learn a little bit more about Guy, but we'll maybe learn a little bit more about Ice Maiden. So let's take a look at this issue, and we begin with the Green Flame getting her costume back on. She's been sort of stuck in bed after everything that's happened, and she's kind of just tired of laying there and being treated like she's sick and not knowing what to do, and maybe she needs to be more active. And of course, Oberon intercepts her. You know, hey, Flame, what are you doing out of bed? I missed you. If only it were true. So he's saying, look, you need to get back in bed, you know. And she's like, no, I've been a recluse too long. I need to get out there. I need to do things. She says, I wanted to apologize for the problems I caused him, talking about Guy Gardner, and thank him for helping me. You mean that stuff he told us about you, about what happened to you? It was all true? Afraid so? Wow. I mean, I knew you were hot, but I never knew you were that hot. Oh, hey, I'm sorry. That was in bad taste. Don't you worry, Oberon. You taste just fine to me. Yeah, well, say what? Okay. So we're getting these little moments between Green Flame and Oberon, a little flirtatious, especially on her part, you know. Look, for a lot of guys, you know, who look like Oberon, you make some little cracks, but you're not really trying to flirt because you don't think there's a possibility. But, you know, when a girl like her flirts back, kind of blows your mind. Well, meanwhile, in Times Square, New York, Guy Gardner is doing what Guy Gardner does best, which is, well, fighting evil, but causing a lot of problems along the way. There was a building here once, and he has removed it with a giant green jackhammer. And apparently this was a place that was known for maybe being involved in a few different kinds of illicit behaviors. And so this is his big gift to everybody of just, well, smashing it so it can't be involved in illicit behaviors anymore. Maybe I shouldn't have forced all those scumbolas out of this building before I trashed it. Let the rats go down with the sinking ship. I guess I'm just a bit too soft-hearted. That was Ronnie's Achilles heel, too, talking about Ronald Reagan. So, yeah, they're throwing some shade at Ronald Reagan again. That's, you know, if you weren't sort of conservative or Republican at the time, a lot of people had a chip on their shoulder about Ronald Reagan. Any rate, so he flies on back and, you know, being a smartass to Oberon, of course, but tells him, yeah, you know, they want to know where he's been. Well, just, you know, watch the news. Oh, God, what did you do now? And so the news comes through. He tore up this building. The mayor and the police, of course, have condemned the whole thing. But some people are privately applauding what he's done. Of course, he's definitely applauding what he's done. Ice Maiden is not real thrilled. You know, you hear that, babe? They love me. I heard it, and I can't believe it. And don't call me babe. Sorry, Ice. No insult intended, babe. Of course not. In fact, I'm in such a good mood tonight, I'm going to take you out on the town. I hope you and your imagination have a very nice evening. Oh, sure, dump on me like everybody else on this team. Ever think of trying to get below this surface? Find the real me? If she considers it, you're on. She bought it. Oh, boy. So, yeah, she might be seeing the real guy. Well, in fact, she's not exactly seeing the real guy. Gardner, remember, this is a character who had, I believe, a head injury that made him the way he is. We did see him for a while with a different head injury, making him very nice and sweet. Well, Green Flame is absolutely 100% against this, but, you know, you're not Ice's mom, so you can't tell her what to do. She comes downstairs. There's Guy, all dressed up and ready to go. And we get another moment between Green Flame and Oberon with him saying, you know, well, she's right. You know, you're not her mother. No, but I am her best friend. And if Gardner does one thing out of line, that's what I like about you, Bee. You're a woman of passion. You don't know the half of it, but maybe one day you will. Yeah, well, I say what? Okay, so the flirtation continues. So they're walking to go see the movies. And, well, where are they going? That doesn't look like your typical movie theater, but we get a moment here. There's a particular owner of this movie place who, he has a bit of a secret history. He used to be the super criminal known as the Black Hand. And now he's gone, well, semi-legit. He's running a dirty movie theater, but still, he's very worried about Guy Gardner. That building he destroyed was not the first building of its type that he destroyed. And his henchman there is saying, we're small potatoes. He's not going to bug us. Yeah. He goes, I know, but I've dealt with these people before. And my therapist says I'm herophobic. Afraid of heights, huh? Never mind. So he's very worried. And of course, well, who would happen to come to his theater but Guy Gardner and Ice Maiden? They buy tickets, and Ice is a little concerned. What? You said you wanted to see the movie, right? Yes, the one with Tom Selleck that Mr. Spock directed. Well, this is it. Okay, that would be three men and a lady, and well, you get the idea. So she again is not sure that it's really the movie. And, well, when the woman who's taking their tickets is topless, she's even more concerned about that. Of course, Guy's still doing why don't you trust me? Knowing full well that he shouldn't be trusted. Well, we go back to the Black Hand here, and the ticket taker lets him know that Guy Gardner is here. Oh, he goes, that's it. I knew it. I knew they were going to go after me. And he hears this crash. No. I won't let him destroy all I've built up. Oh boy, what's he going to do? Well, the crash was actually Ice taking Guy Gardner out. How dare you? How dare I what? How dare you take me to see such horrifying, degrading, stomach-turning filth? If you'd have given it a few more minutes, you would have started to like it. You sicken me. Okay, well, they're arguing in the alley, and somebody says freeze. Huh? We see a cape there. Who could that possibly be? Yes, it is, in fact, the Black Hand. I'm only saying this once. Begone from here, both of you, or face the fighting frenzy of the man called Black Hand. Gardner has no idea who this guy is, but when he pulls this device, well, he does what Guy Gardner does. He takes him out pretty effectively. And Ice is horrified. She goes, that was not a real gun. That was some kind of a toy. This guy is obviously having some kind of a mental break. And instead of being compassionate, you beat him up. So he comes back, and she's like, just let him shoot the thing and get it over with. He's like, let him shoot? Oh, and by the way, you know what I didn't do at the very beginning of this thing? I didn't talk about who made it. Giffen, plot, DeMatteis script, Templeton pencils pages 1 through 3 and 22, McKone pencils 4 through 21, Rubenstein inks, De Guzman letters, D'Angelo colors, Dooley assistant editor, Helfer. Well, it says Mr. Ed, but he's the main editor. Okay, so let him shoot. So this would be a McKone piece, and I do rather like it. Nice angle too. I do kind of like this image too, because he's very like, he's trying to show off, but it's a really odd pose, right? But it's a very supervillain or superhero kind of pose, which looks very awkward, but it's supposed to look awkward. Very nicely done. So let him shoot. Guy Gardner's finally, okay, fine. Yeah, just get it over with. And he presses the button and it goes, Vzt. And they're like, all right, good. Are you done? Fine. Let's go get something to eat. She's still not happy with Guy. And he ends with a, see you around, chump. And that breaks this dude. And again, this is a nice piece here as we follow his face to resolve Irwin. That's his henchman. And he wants Irwin's gun. He's going to go after Guy Gardner. Oh, not a great idea. So he chases after. He's starting to laugh maniacally. And he's like, okay, I got to control. I got to get control. Guy and Ice are still arguing. You know what your problem is, Ice? You got no class. I mean, if you had some class, you wouldn't be ignoring me like I'm going to have my revenge. That wasn't Guy, by the way. This, you notice that I'm going to have my revenge came from the Black Hand, and that is a bullet sort of creasing Guy Gardner's skull. Now, you have to think the ring protects him automatically, so he probably wasn't in any real danger. But that pretty well does it for Guy Gardner, and he goes full on the attack. Ice is saying, he's having a breakdown, Guy. We've got to help him. Oh, I'll help him all right. Ack. Okay, so he hits him square on. And at this point, the Black Hand has realized what he's done. And he's going, look. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm trying to surrender, really. If you'll just let me explain. Oh, right. And while you're explaining, you deck me. Listen, I'm seeing this therapist, a really wonderful woman. We've been making a lot of progress with my phobia, but when I saw you eat my glove, jerk, and we do get a great boxing glove on the little, what do you call those dudes? I can't think of the word for it, but nice old school Green Lantern stuff. And so finally he does, you surrender? I surrender. Really? Really? And then Guy takes another shot at him. Wimp. Typical Guy Gardner. Again, you're going, well, the guy did shoot at him and, etc. Guy's like, sometimes he's completely in the wrong, but he oftentimes is not completely in the wrong, but he manages to make things wrong. And of course, even worse, then after he beats that poor disturbed man to within an inch of his life, Mr. Wonderful here brings him over to me and asks if I'd like to take a poke at him. Come on, admit it. Deep down, you really wanted to paste him one. You're the one who needs the therapist, you warped, twisted, insufferable. Handsome. Let's not forget handsome. If you'll all excuse me, I'm going to take a bath for a week. It should take that long to get that animal stench off of me. And what have you got to say for yourself, Gardner? What can I say? She loves me, and who can blame her? Hate to break up the little coffee clutch, but we've got some work to do. Who said that? Why, that was Big Barda. So, Green Flame has reached out to Barda for some help in getting control of her new expanded powers. And she's kind of like, well, maybe we could do it later. And Barda's like, no, we're doing it now. You're putting people in danger. And so she goes, all right, let me see what you can do. But don't say I didn't warn you. Flash. Holy moly. Next, more on the mystery behind the Flash. The return of Dr. Fate. Well, Nabu. Well, Kent Nelson. And a journey into the mind of the Blue Beetle. Such as it is. Okay, so we moved ahead the Green Flame, sub-storyline a bit. And if you know this book, you know that there, is sort of a relationship between Guy and Ice. So this kind of introduces it, although obviously didn't go very well. By the way, that's a Batman t-shirt because that was the big movie at the time. And not just us geeks were wearing Batman shirts. In fact, it was weird, frankly. It was weird to see all sorts of people wearing Batman shirts at the time. It was a little discomforting, to be honest with you. All right, so there's Justice League America. We've moved some stories ahead, but next time we're going to dive way back more into the Blue Beetle, Queen Bee, Bealia storyline. So let's do a really quick look at Justice League Europe number 3. Now, they've been dealing with the Queen Bee as well, as she's had Jack-O-Lantern and some other members of the Global Guardians going after them, using mind control, trying to smear them as neo-Nazis to basically get them essentially kicked out of Europe, which would be better for her, because with them in Europe, they're a lot closer to her home base now. Okay, so they're kind of discussing what they should do. They're not sure. We have a moment between Captain Atom and one of their supporters in France, who stops being a supporter when he discovers that Captain Atom cannot speak French. But ultimately, they decide on a couple things. First, Green Flame and Ice Maiden used to be in the Global Guardians, so let's talk to them. And this is basically Power Girl, Elongated Man, and Flash, who are kind of doing this, along with Sue Dibney, Ralph's wife. And she's like saying, no, they were all very good people. I can't imagine. But she does know Jack-O-Lantern and Owlwoman have allied themselves with the Queen Bee. The Queen Bee? That nut who's running Bealia? Uh-huh. I'm afraid that's all I know. Thanks, Ice. And say hi to John for me. What a waste. No. If this Jack guy's tied in with Bealia, hey, you two, guess what? I really hate guessing games. So what Sue tells them is the dome that used to be the Global Guardians headquarters is now a museum. And Power Girl says, hey, why don't we go in there in our civilian identities and check things out? Okay, but she's doing this, all three of them are doing this, without any permission. So they're going through, they're getting the tour. The only one who speaks French is Ralph. And he's not real thrilled about all of this. And we find that Jack and Owlwoman, of course, are operating from the dome. And they have something planned for our pals. And that in particular is all the other people visiting the dome suddenly turn on them. And Jack is going to basically make this look as though it was an unprovoked attack on civilians by the Justice League members. We do get a moment here where Metamorpho is trying to learn French from, it looks like, Sesame Street. We get some of DeMatteis and his LA slang. But we also see that arg right there? Yeah, that's the moment when Captain Atom finds out that 3 Justice League members are involved in combat at the dome. And so here we have the news, and it's their fault. They did all of it, and Inspector Camus is there, and he's not happy. And so basically, they've been set up, and they're in kind of an unwinnable situation against Jack-O-Lantern. He's had his powers increased quite a bit by the Queen Bee. And there is a nice part here where Ralph makes a move, gets burned, but it distracts Jack-O-Lantern long enough for the Flash to get in there and just pop, hit him at super speed to not take him out. Not quite take him out, but to really knock him off his feet. And you get this great, hey, that was good. Yeah, I know, but Barry would have. No, I mean, that was really good. Gee, thanks, Ralph. That means a lot to me. You know, I've always looked up to you. And Power Girl's like, can we do this later? We got to get this fight over with. Well, Jack-O-Lantern ultimately fades away, hooks back up with Owlwoman. They both fade out of the place too, but they've set a timer. Okay. Well, outside, Captain Atom and Inspector Camus are going at it. He's saying, listen, we've been set up. This is not our fault. And then he kind of turns on Power Girl, who, by the way, is not real thrilled at the moment. If you were a better leader, we wouldn't have to be doing this. He says, and you are an immature, inexperienced girl who damn near brought this whole mess crashing down on our heads. If anyone's to blame, I'd say it's you. Without strong leadership, we have to make our own decisions. Oh, great. Next time, why don't you just decide to blow the whole damn building, or blow up the whole damn building? And then at that very moment, well, I guess I don't really need this. You can kind of tell. It says, boom. So the entire dome explodes. Paris's beloved Global Guardians. This isn't going to go over well for the Justice League, but it's also a moment of decision for Captain Atom. An expert has been setting them up, and he's tired of it. And you know what? It's time we start fighting back. Next issue, Bialya Bound. So, both leagues are dealing with the Queen Bee and Bialya at the moment. For the Americans, almost all of them are actually Americans, but for the American team, they're dealing with Blue Beetle and his programming by the Queen Bee. For the European team, they're going to go into Bialya directly and deal with what's been happening to them. So that will be for next Monday. We'll be looking at Justice League America number 29 and Justice League Europe number 4. If you have any thoughts on these books we looked at today, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the review, please give it a like, maybe think of subscribing and share with a friend. But until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I will hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture.